Hello everyone, this is Flatline and today I'm going to be doing a PvP build. We're going to be showcasing the one gate expand into Stargate build. Parting did this against Liquid Hero in 2 of his games, I believe. In the I just know it was in some kind of Chinese tournament. Not particularly sure which one, but doesn't really matter. I will show you the build, and since the recent patch, the Oracle has gained a huge buff where the move speed has been increased to 4 and the acceleration is, let me see what the acceleration is, and the acceleration increased from 2 to 3, so it's going to be a little bit easier to maneuver with your Oracle, which is really nice. Especially whenever you try to dive in and you try to, once you find out you can't really commit, you can actually pull back on time. Some of the times before this patch, the Oracle, it seemed kind of like it would glide and it would take too long for it to actually pull back out. And the result, sometimes it dies. So anyways, the build is 9 Pylon, 13 Gateway, and you want to get both of your gases, 14-15 Assimilator, 17 Pylon, 18 Cyber. You want to put all your chrono boost onto probes. That should be 4 chrono boost. And the probe that made your Cyber will go ahead and scout. Now you do want to get your 3rd Pylon, but generally you can kind of hide it depending on if they're scouting or not. I didn't see any of his probes, so I had assumed that he wasn't really probe scouting in this game, so I decided to get a 21 Pylon. But you can get this Pylon like at 23 if you want, or something like that. It's up to you. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure you don't get supply blocked. That's the biggest thing. Just do not get supply blocked. So once the Cyber is done, you're going to start up your Sentry, start up Warp Gate. You're still making that probe over here, and then at 24 supply is when you want to start making that Mothership. And it's a little bit delayed by me, but I want to get that going. You want to chrono boost that baby out. And chrono boosting it's going to allow you to have enough energy, and you want to send that probe right after you make that Mothership chrono. After you make that Mothership, I'm going to go ahead and send a probe down and make your expansion. So it's going to come down to your scouting. We're going to go to my vision to indicate what I saw. I saw 2 gases. Okay, pretty decent low chronos. He had 2 gateways as well. So there's a lot of things he could be doing, right? He could be doing a 3 Stalker rush. He could be doing 2 gate Stargate, 2 gate DT, 2 gate Robo. There's just a lot of different things he could be doing, but we should be fine. Back at my base, you do want to get a 2nd Sentry. You could chrono boost that baby out, and make sure you have a Stalker on the way as well. So after the Stalker at 33 supply, you should be making, or 32 supply, you should be making your Stargate. I'm going to stop probes just a little bit at 32 so you can be able to get that Pylon and that 2nd gateway thrown down here. And if you want the hardcore build, I will put it down in the build order, so you can copy it by food. But I don't really recommend following the food because, like I said, you do scout with that probe, and if you lose the probe, the food count can kind of change. So just do it by feel. Just do it whenever you can afford it, basically. Alright, so after the Stalker and the 2 Sentries, once that Stargate's done, you want to chrono boost out an Oracle. And since he's not pressuring me, I can send the first 100 energy that I have on my Sentry to hallucinate. Now what did I scout? I see a Robo, 2 gates, and an expansion, a lot of Sentries, and some Stalkers. And that's about it. So there's really nothing he can throw at me that can damage me. Even though I have only 2 Sentries and a Stalker, and he has 3 Sentries and 2 Stalkers, I will be in okay shape because of the fact that I have the Tunnel Recharge. That's the cool thing about getting your Mothership before your expansion. You're going to be able to have a Tunnel Recharge literally right when your Nexus is done. So you're going to be fine in that regard. Back at his base, he's getting an early Forge. He wants to catch up by having an upgrade advantage. I'm getting my Forge, getting my Robo. Now, This is where it gets a little bit different for everyone because there's different reactions to what you scout. In PvP, if you see them fast expand, you generally can play off with a very, very greedy build. Look at me, I haven't really warped in anything, getting my double gas, getting my forge, getting another tech, the robo, and getting phoenixes. Now the reason why I'm getting phoenixes is because I did scout that earlier robo, so to push my lead further, I had the tech advantage. So let me get my tech going. I'm gonna get some phoenixes out to help harass here and there, and all that kind of stuff. While I have my oracle do some damage as well. Now, let's say if you went Twilight Council, would I have gotten these phoenixes? Probably not. Probably not. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead over here and do some damage. There's really no reason for me to keep the oracle back on my base because I didn't see any DC shrine or anything like that. So once again, like I said, don't really need the oracle back on my base, but if you do see a DC on the way, make 2 oracles and have the first oracle with your army to cast the, what is this? Revelation. So that way you know, oh wait, no it isn't, it's Envision, yeah, Envision. So that way you know, or you can detect cloak units. Back at my base, still not warping in any units. See a huge difference. Look at this, because I see where his army's at, I see his composition, I see what he has. I saw the very early forge, so when you see an early forge like this, you can assume that they're not really going to attack into you for a very long time, because they invested into the later stage for that upgrade to actually kick in and actually do something beneficial for his army. Alright, so we're going to send our phoenixes out. You can see who has the map control, him or me. It's me, if you didn't know. You can see, because he's kind of back at his base, he's playing very passive, he's not really being able to do anything he wants. Killed off a couple more probes, 13 kills on the oracle, so that's pretty awesome. And I'm going to be able to snipe off the Mothership Core. That's pretty cool because it's going to stop his probe production for a little bit, and he has to put up 100 gas to remake the Mothership Core. Look at my base, just getting up some immortals. Make sure you have an observer, you do not want to lose that way. I went with the second forge because I saw the first forge by him. He got one way before me. And you can see he's kind of ahead in upgrade, so I'm going to go ahead and get that second forge and try to beat him out towards the later stage. Getting shields because I'm going for an immortal Archon composition, and those favor more on the shield rather than my armor. But if you're going for Colossus kind of composition, you can go for the armor instead of shield. Alright, so the next thing you need to do is, since I have map control, I scattered around with my phoenixes to look for any proxy pylons. I did find this one. I'm gonna go ahead and snipe that off. And I'm still looking. He doesn't have this expansion because I have my oracle here. And I see extra gateways being thrown down. I see no probes being produced by him. This means he's going for an all-in right here. And you're gonna see me stop making probes for quite a bit. Instead of making probes, I should be stopping. He's remaking his probes because he lost a couple. But yeah, I saw him going for an all-in. There's no reason for me to make any probes. It's all about making enough units. It's 91 to 63 in favor of me. So I'm just going to be throwing out a bunch of gateways. I think I'll go up to like 12 gateways. And just defend. I should be fine. I should have the immortal advantage because he suffered a lot in his economy. It's 3 immortals to none. So he doesn't even have any immortals. I'm not sure exactly how he thinks he's going to play this out. I guess he's going to go very heavy on Zealots. But then at the same time, that's when I'm getting a lot of Archon, so it doesn't really help him. Hey. I think I do sacrifice these, unfortunately, just to pick off one Sentry. It's sick. Sick game or decision making by me. And I lose my oracle, unfortunately. But I did get one more probe before he died, so definitely did its work. 19 workers killed the entire game for me. All I have to do is defend, basically. I can lose this base and it's still okay for me because I did a lot of damage back at his base. And I had the upgrade advantage. So things are looking really good for me. I have the immortal advantage as well. I didn't really know if I did or did not because I didn't see if he was making any immortals. I didn't really commit into inside his base. He could be hiding some, or he could be not. So don't really know exactly. I did see his High Templar, so I know he has a Templar Archives. And should be going for Archons. Didn't really have charge when I saw Zealots, so couldn't assume that he had charge, but he is gonna finish up charge. I didn't get charge myself because of that, and at the same time I'm defending. I rather had the 200 gas be invested into something else, whether it be for the 2 more immortals or, you know, help out to make out another Archon. Because if he has charge, it's perfectly fine if I don't have charge, because I'm playing the defensive. I'm in a defensive position, so his zealots will be going towards my units, which means they're getting closer to my Archon, so there's no really reason for me to charge. They're also charging in front of my zealots, so there's no reason for my zealots to charge, because they're gonna inevitably hit one another, except his zealots will actually get away from his own army because they're going to be charging towards my zealots. My zealots are going to be closer to my army, which means my Archons don't have to travel that far away to snipe off all of the zealots. So he comes up here, and this is pretty much an all-in right here. This is really risky to do in PvP. Now he does have the Mothership Core, so he can recall if he wants to, but that's where a feedback changes everything. And now he can't really recall, so at this point he's pretty much dead. I have too many units that have better upgrades. He's 2-0, I'm 2-1. And yeah, he's warping in a bunch of zealots here. And I still have my 3rd base. And yeah, it's well played. Just didn't have enough. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for the counterattack, and he would pretty much lose from there. So anyways, the build order right there, and there's a couple of PvP insight if you have some trouble with PvP, which by the way I still do. I don't really know exactly the late game PvP's point, but I am amazing in the mid game. This is about the mid game for PvP, so pretty happy with my mid game. Just gotta work on my late game. But anyways guys, thanks for watching. I hope you do enjoy this build, and hopefully this helps you out in PvP. If you have any questions or anything like that, comments below. You can just put them, or any comments, you can put them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.